Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. We got a great episode for you today. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like, you dislike, or even if you just want to outsmart me on something I said, go ahead, shoot me a call, 219-413-9405, and we will play your take back on our next episode. Man, so it's a lot of big changes going on in the NFL. Obviously, we got some NBA stuff going on. Not going to touch much on March Madness today, just because it's kind of at that break, that hiatus until I think Thursday is when we catch the rest of those Sweet 16 games. So you'll probably get a hint of that on Thursday's episode. But for today, man, we're talking about these big changes going on in the NFL. It's a lot of them, man, because the NFL, they've officially banned the hip drop tackle, and it's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down that'll be enforced if any player uses that technique of performing a hip drop tackle. Now, they're not just done there. The NFL got even more after that. In addition to the hip drop tackle, the NFL, they also approved an extra team challenge if a team is correct about one of the first two challenges. So in total, they get 3 challenges as long as you're correct about one of the 2 challenges that you've used. I know it's a little blurry right there, but we'll clarify that. But first things first, bro. With this hip drop tackle, it's so soft, man. It's so soft. What is happening to the game that I fell in love with, bro, in terms of football, bro? What is going on? Because I remember the game I fell in love with was watching Ray Lewis hit the hole and smack a running back, knock his lights out, or catch somebody on a screen pass, knock their lights out. Watching Troy Polamalu come over top, smack a wide receiver who just caught the ball and didn't protect himself. Watching a running back like Adrian Peterson run full speed, truck a linebacker, a defensive back, put them in the dirt and take it for 6. Like, you almost can't do any of that stuff no more in the NFL without getting fined. Running backs get fined for trucking players. Defensive backs get fined for targeting, for hitting guys too hard. And now you got guys who can't even do a hip drop tackle. And just to clarify, too, on the hip drop tackle, to kind of explain what it is for anybody who's not familiar, because I know it's a weird-ass term, hip drop tackle. It's pretty much a standard tackle. When you chase somebody and you grab their hips and you just fall with your weight. If you can't bring them down with your arms, like many people can't do when you're tackling in football, you have to use your weight to really bring them down. So now they're banning this move of grabbing someone by your hips and kind of using your weight to pull them down because of collateral damage. People have gotten hurt, you roll some ankles, toe up some shins, hurt some knees because of this type of tackle. So they're trying to make the game a lot more safe. And I respect that part, but also one of the things I don't understand personally from the NFL is how long is it really going to take for them to realize that there is no way you can make this game of football safe? When you're asking guys to run at each other head on and hit each other, bam, 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 right in the head, helmet to helmet, how can you possibly make this game safe? It's literally impossible to make this game safe and to prevent injuries in the NFL when you have guys running full speed at each other. It's something that's never going to happen. And I'm just curious of when the NFL is really going to pick up on that, because year after year, we're moving closer and closer to flag football. Why not just implement it, bro? Like just save us some time of being sad and being sad about the game we love being picked apart. And just go full throttle in flag football at this point, bro, because as long as running full speed at each other is a key component in football, it'll never be safe, ever. And my theory behind this, in terms of the NFL trying to continue to make the game safe, in quotations, is I'm really starting to believe they're getting fixated on making this an offensive-oriented game, because You see, we had that one Super Bowl. I can't remember the exact number, but a couple years back, we had a very defensive Super Bowl. People were complaining about it. Anytime there's defensive games in the NFL, people are complaining about it. So to me, I'm looking at all of this make the game safer type stuff as a way for the NFL to say, we got to let guys score. Because if you can't hip drop tackle people, if you can't make a regular tackle on defenders who are 235 pounds, how can you stop them from scoring the ball? What are you supposed to do if you're a defensive back that's 190 pounds and you got a tight end that's 250 running at you? What are you supposed to do? You can't use your weight to bring that guy down at this point? No, that's BS. You got these huge running backs, these huge tight ends that can't be brought down by a simple arm tackle. You're not slamming him to the ground with just your arm strength. It's not happening. And because of that, guys like Derrick Henry, guys like Travis Kelce are going to have 400 plus yards each game if you allow this to happen. Nobody's going to make an arm tackle and stop someone that's running full speed at 230 pounds. It's not happening. It's silly work from the NFL, and it's silly for anyone who thinks that this is going to be effective in terms of actually making the game safe, because I guarantee you people continue to get injured off those knick-knack injuries of ankle injuries, knee injuries, shoulder, all of the above, everything you can think of in terms of somebody falling on top of each other in the NFL. It's still going to happen because you cannot stop it. And yeah, it might help your star guys. It might help your wide receivers and stuff like that. But what about those offensive linemen who are really in the trenches, putting in work, protecting their quarterback? They are the main ones that get jacked up in terms of getting rolled over sometimes with their ankles and their knees and their legs and all of those stuff. They're the main ones sometimes because they're backpedaling. They're trying to keep these huge 300-pound defenders from getting to a quarterback. It makes no sense. You're not going to be able to make that safe. You're not going to be able to take away certain elements of the game. So what options do these guys have now? Arm tackling. Arm tackling is what these guys have now. And I feel bad for it because telling defenders to not be able to do a form tackle like they're used to and to change the way they tackle is like telling a quarterback to throw with his non-dominant hand. It's not good for business, and it's not going to look pretty at the end of the day. So I don't know. In terms of the hip drop tackle, that's a weird element that they've added to the game. And then now we know that coaches, they get this extra challenge if they get one of the first two correct. So let's say a coach, he starts off with 2 challenges. He challenges something in the first quarter. He gets it right. He now has 2 more challenges instead of just 1 left. So I think this is cool. I don't really have a problem with this here. The only thing I can think of in terms of where this could be an issue is just the response time of watching monitors over and over and over again. Like, I want to see actual football action when I'm watching the game. So sometimes sitting here looking at the screen, watching them review this play that was a fumble or review this play that wasn't a hip drop tackle be considered something as such. To me, I feel like that's going to bother me in a sense. But, hey, it's cool because clutch moments of the game, guys get an extra challenge. So, hey, I'm not mad at that. Now, the NFL still isn't done. I know I mentioned all of these other things, but they still got some stuff to go on. Now, the replay assistant will now be allowed to correct certain types of incorrect calls on the field for roughing the passer and intentional grounding. Now, the replay assistant is the person who's holding the monitor for the referees to look at. And the main concern here for me is like, how much weight is this replay assistant really going to hold? Because if you got the crew chief of the referee or the referee crew chief saying, hey, this was not intentional grounding, but the assistant is saying, this looks like intentional grounding to me. What are we going to do about that? I need to know how much weight he's going to hold. So I would love to see more information where that's coming from. But I don't know, man. All of this stuff is going to be needed in terms of the new challenge, the review assistant, the replay assistant. All of that's going to be needed with this hip drop tackle stuff. It's nonsense to me. But look, man, we got a couple side notes here. Actually, one side note, my boy J.J McCarthy, he went on to win a national championship with the University of Michigan, so kudos to him. You got to get a man his flowers for that. I'll definitely give him his flowers. There's been a lot of hype surrounding his name lately, and I kind of don't understand why. I never thought he was the best quarterback out of college football right now in terms of prospects of what we've seen so far. Out of everybody, of Penix Jr., Caleb Williams, Drake May, you got a lot of different guys in the mix in terms of elite quarterbacks. To me, J.J. McCarthy is not that guy. However, that's just my opinion. Apparently, executives in the NFL are going crazy about J.J. McCarthy because they seen this big throw he did on Pro Day. Now, I watched the throw. It was a nice little throw. He snapped the ball, ran out of the pocket, and then threw this ball on the run to their star running back. And you know, I seen this, and I'm like, oh, damn, that was a beautiful throw. And I heard in the video, this is what bugged me. I heard in the video, all the execs and people watching, they were like, oh, like it was crazy to me because I'm like, all right, bro, come on now. It ain't that damn good. And I'm curious if I can pull it up. I'll find it before I leave this side note. But it was crazy to me because I'm looking at this and I'm like, bro, Pro Day is a joke. Why are we still celebrating Pro Day like it's something so special? I get he threw the ball 60, 70 yards on the run and it was a great throw. But bro, he had no pass rush. He had no defensive back trying to guard the guy. He had nobody chasing him out the pocket or chasing him to the sideline when he made this throw. He was literally wide open and no one in sight. All he had to do was play catch with his favorite wide receiver who also went to the University of Michigan. Why is this so spectacular? What are we applauding for, bro? This is insane to me that people make this such a big deal of him throwing a wide open pass to someone he plays catch with every single day, has been playing catch with over the last 3 to 4 years. It's insane. This literally the same exact type of throw is the throw that hurt the Jets franchise all last year. When we watched Zach Wilson last year, nobody expected him to play like that when he was at his pro day at BYU, throwing these passes on a run for 60, 70 yards. Beautiful throws. Absolute beautiful throws. Nobody expected him to have as rough as a start as he had to the NFL. Like, are you kidding me? So if you could see that happen, what makes you think that can't happen to J.J. McCarthy? And then, even if you don't think it can happen to J.J. McCarthy, when have you ever seen a quarterback on a pro day throw a bad pass with no pass rush, no linemen, nobody chasing him, no defensive backs? When have you ever seen that? I've never seen that in my life. I've never seen a quarterback, a prospect to go into the NFL, throw a bad pass on pro day when it's nobody in sight, when he's just playing catch with his favorite receiver. So to me, it's absolutely silly that this is getting a lot of praise. And bro, you know what? Y'all got to stop believing this nonsense. Y'all got to stop believing all of the hype that you get and all of the hype that people are feeding you, because it's not cool, bro. It's not cool. And I think I found the audio here. So I'm going to play the audio. We got to hear this. I'm going to find the audio. So here it is right here. I got you. Like, come on, man. This is insane to me that this is praised like that, bro. Like, I get it's a good throw, but damn, man. Like, bro, stop it. Stop it. He's wide open. He's literally wide open throwing the ball to his favorite receiver, bro. Come on now. Why is that worth any praise? I'm sorry, bro. I'm not even trying to hate on bro or nothing. You know, I would admit if I was hating on him, but this is not even me hating. This is just, I would say the same thing with Caleb Williams too, because even on his pro day, he has some great throws. But why are we so hype about him making wide open throws with nobody in his face at all? Because that's so far from the reality that's going to kick in when he plays that first NFL game. It's just not going to happen. So I don't know, bro. That's a wild thing to me. But anyway, look, man, that's all I got for this first half. Look, don't go anywhere because we got a lot more coming up. We got some news. And then people have been talking about Steph Curry being the most influential player in today's NBA and NBA of all time. So we got to talk about that just for a second, but we got some news for the run in just a second. Obviously, y'all already know if you heard something you like, you disagree with, you agree with, or even if you just want to outsmart me on something I said, go ahead, shoot me a call. 219 413-9405. And of course, we will play your take back on our next episode. Go ahead, drop those voicemail lines in, any topic, any questions, whatever the case is. But look, we're about to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with some news for the run and then some more information on the next and the most influential player to ever play in the NBA. All right, it's halftime. We'll be right back. All right, man, let's get into it. News for the run. Starting off in the NBA, the Houston Rockets, they've been on an 8-game winning streak, playing great basketball. They'll look to extend this streak to 9 games and make a run for the playoffs as they play the Trailblazers. And in the NFL teams are still expanding to a global market. You got 19 countries are now a part of the NFL's new initiative, and only 7 of the NFL's 32 teams are not yet participating. That's a lot of teams. That's a lot of teams that they got playing in different countries. That's super dope. And then the MLB, Shohei Ohtani released a new statement related to the multiple wire transfers to a sports book in California. Now, his new translated related the message that Ohtani was saying, "I never bet on baseball or any other sport. I have never asked someone to do it on my behalf." And the translator also mentioned the previous interpreter stole money and told lies. So we're seeing how this thing unfolds. But like I mentioned last episode, we already knew this was going to protect Ohtani at all costs. Like, it was no way this was going to turn into a Ohtani has a huge gambling problem in terms of a serious note. We joke about it on Twitter. We make fun of it and all of that stuff. But ain't no way that people in the MLB, in terms of executives, would really crack down on Ohtani in terms of gambling and all of that stuff. So I don't know. It's cool though. But look, man, like I mentioned here, you got Paul Pierce. This is where this came from. Paul Pierce, he does a podcast with Kevin Garnett. I think it's Certified G or something. Yeah, Certified G. Don't quote me on the name, but it's a dope episode. It's a dope podcast that they do. And Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, obviously 2 Celtics legends. But Paul Pierce was on record and he claimed that Stephen Curry influenced the NBA more than Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe Bryant. Now, to me, bro, when I first heard this statement, I'm like, all right, that's kind of wow. That's a bold take. But then I'm like, hey, wait a second now. This is actually kind of accurate. And I personally will double down on this statement anytime and make it my own if I had to, because I too believe that Stephen Curry is the most influential player in the NBA, more than Jordan, more than Kobe, and more than LeBron. And I say this with very good reason, because those guys are all great. There's a lot of great influential guys in the NBA, but I say Steph Curry is the most influential based on the fact that everybody in the NBA today lives and dies by the 3 balls in today's game. Literally any team you watch, they're chucking up threes. You're going to see centers shooting threes. You're going to see power forwards shooting threes, small forwards, point guards, shooting guards, 6th man, 7th man. You're going to see everybody who comes on the floor take at least 1 3 at some point in time. The game has changed tremendously because of Steph Curry. And now executives have begun to realize that 3 points is now greater than 2 after we witnessed Steph Curry go on a run like he did and win his championships. And now all of a sudden, every position in basketball is allowed to shoot threes. Back when you look at 10 years ago, it was banished for a center to start chucking threes in the game. It was insane for them to even step foot behind the 3-point line and pump fake. You were getting out the game. You were getting tossed to the bench if you even thought about it. So now all of a sudden it's a high percentage shot. So the league and fans all realize that shooting trumps athleticism, which we've previously glorified in the past generations of the NBA. So, shooting has become the most important component when you're evaluating basketball talent because of Steph Curry. So to me, I'm like, yes, this is definitely one of the most influential guys. And this is not to say that, other guys weren't, because when I say this, I'm more so meaning these guys like Kobe, Mike, Jordan, Shaq, Wilt, they changed the game. They all are extremely influential, but Not every one of those guys have changed the entire game for every single position. Steph Curry has changed the game for every single position in basketball. Now it's acceptable for every single position in basketball to shoot a three-pointer if you know you can knock it down. When you look at Michael Jordan influenced the game with his creativity on the offensive end of the ball. People never seen Michael Jordan do anything like he did with the basketball on the offensive end. All the going up in the air, switching hands and laying it in. That was the first time people ever seen that. Taking flight like he was, double pumping in the air, pump faking with one hand, shot off the dribble, fade away, pump fake, footwork at a nasty elite level. People never seen that until Michael Jordan came along. And that did transcend the game. Of course, I'll definitely give him that. But during that era, guys could have basic handles. Guys could have a shot that's non-existent, and you were considered a pro as long as you could slam dunk the ball. As long as you could slam dunk the ball, you were still considered a pro. And that was one of the things Jordan did. And I mean, you could be creative in that sense, but ultimately, like, it's not anything that's on the same weight as allowing everybody on the floor to shoot a three-pointer. And when I look at other guys too, even LeBron thrived at positionless basketball because now, we're in an era where guys above 6'7" can literally play 1 through 5 if they can handle the rock and be smart with the ball. That's credit to LeBron and him really, really dominating at positionless basketball and showing everybody that he can do everything no matter what position he's playing on the floor. But again, this only applies to a select few guys. People who are 6'7" and above can only do this. You're not going to watch a guy who's 6'3" play positionless basketball. It's not happening. And I say the same thing with Jordan. Going back to Jordan, you're not going to watch a center take flight, switch hands in the air and stuff like that. It's not happening. Only a select few guys are affected by the way they changed the game. Same with LeBron, same with Kobe, because Kobe was just like Jordan. Even Allen Iverson, who's one of my personal favorites, everybody wanted to cross over, but I'd be damned if I watch a center try and shake and bake somebody from the three-point line and drive. No, hell no. We see Joel Embiid and other guys tend to do it now, but that's also because they began to be a threat from the three-point line. Nobody has made the three more transcendent than Steph Curry, man. And because of that, you go play a game of pickup basketball. You go play a game. You watch a G League game. You watch a college game. You watch an NBA game. You're going to watch a lot of guys chuck threes because that's what the game has evolved to. But specifically in the NBA, this is now a shooters league in the NBA. Prior to that, it was a lot of claim to athleticism. It was a lot of a noise about this guy's so athletic. This guy can jump high. This guy can create shots by going to the rim, doing reverses and all of these different athletic tendencies. But now people realize all that going to the rim and reverse layups and dunking and jumping and trying to force the defender use your body, all that stuff take a lot of energy, bruh. You save a lot more energy if you shoot a three-pointer and you get more points. So people are starting to realize that, yeah, it's a little bit easier to shoot threes when you can make it because you save yourself some energy. And then also, too, like, it's 3 points and that's going to always be worth more than 2. So, Steph Curry, I stand on that statement. Steph Curry for sure, has influenced the game more than Mike, more than Kobe, and more than Shaq, more than LeBron, specifically in the NBA. Because right now it's a shooters league, and I don't think it'll ever go back to being a league that really praises athleticism like we've seen in the past. Everybody's praising shooting. You can't even be considered a good player nowadays if you don't know how to shoot the ball. You literally are considered an average guy or someone who's below average if you don't know how to shoot the ball in today's game. So that says it alone that Steph Curry has already influenced the NBA to that great of an extent. You could be unathletic and thrive back in the day. You could not know how to dunk. You could not have a one solid position and still thrive back in the day. But in terms of shooting now in today's game, oh yeah, you got to know how to do that in order to play. But look, man, hey, that's all I got for y'all today, man. I appreciate you kicking it with me. Of course, I appreciate you, man. Especially if you tapped into the whole thing, you listening this long. Go ahead, shoot me a voicemail call, 219-413-9405. And of course, man, you know we're going to play the take on our next episode. And I'm going to leave you with one last final note. I didn't prepare one, but it's off the top of the dome. This final note here, man, is just to give it your all and give your best effort, bro. Whatever you're really trying to do, give it your all, go hard or go home. Give it your best effort. Don't waste no time thinking if it's good enough or if you're good enough. Just do what you do and go hard in that lane, bro. Once you found what you want to do and once you're serious about it, don't even listen to none of the outside noise of comparing yourself to this content creator, comparing yourself to that guitarist, comparing yourself to that drummer, comparing yourself to that swimmer. No, don't do none of that, bro. Just stay in your lane, go hard and work as hard as you can. And bro, I mean, you're going to get there at some point. I'm in the same boat as you right now. We are all just working hard and just in that lane, pedal to the metal, full throttle on the gas and just go in that lane, bro. So that's my advice, man. That's what I'm going to close with. That's what I'm going to leave y'all with. Just go hard in that lane, tunnel vision in where you are. Don't listen to the outside noise of being good enough, not good enough. And definitely don't compare yourself to anybody who's doing it better or worse than you, because you had to start somewhere too when you were on your journey and wherever you are now. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man. Other than that, man, that's all I got. I'm serious this time, but send this to a cousin, a brother, an aunt, a niece, a nephew, a coworker, anyone you know who may enjoy this. I promise you they will not mind. Other than that, man, I appreciate y'all for kicking it with me. Follow me on Instagram at The Run Podcast. You can follow my personal as well at I am Manny Wilson. And until then, we will be back later on this week, and so on and so on and so on.